120-pound capacity smoker. It's got a side combustion unit on it. It's a hot smoker, so it cooks the food. You can get cold smokers as well, that there's no what heat to smoke that cures the food. So all the heat that is produced in the smoker comes from burning wood. So in fact, the only electricity it uses is to just ignite the wood, and then it just keeps burning itself. So it's really, you can plug it into a regular wall outlet.
I'm getting down.
Turn this back on. I just want you to get down. So on the side here, there's a hopper, and you can see it all the way out if you can see it right now. Essentially, it's where we put these wood chips. The types of wood that we use in the smoker is a combination of hickory and mesquite. The mesquite gives it a more of a smoky kind of traditional kind of smoked flavor to the wood, and then the hickory burns really cleanly and burns evenly. You don't want your smoker to go out in the middle of the night, and you want it to burn at a really even temperature. So the way it works is there's a control panel here. We set the temperature and the time that it's going to cook. There's a little auger mechanism that pulls the wood chips into a little crucible underneath the smoker there. That's where they're ignited by electricity to get them started. And then they burn and create smoke and create the amount of heat that we want. When the wood stove starts to get a little bit too hot, it shuts off that auger, and then the wood sort of starts to run out a little bit. If it gets too cold, it increases the speed of the auger. So that's just the simplicity of the mechanism. If you ever do any smoking at home yourself, though, you'll know that unless you have a good digitally controlled smoker, it's really hard to keep the smoke at even temperature. It's hard to avoid flare-ups and things like that, which means you have to babysit the smoker a lot. And this one's really nice because it's so automatic, essentially, that there's not a lot of babysitting, and I can put brisket in and boiled boar shoulder in overnight so it can go for 12 hours on its own while I'm not at the shop. So earlier today I put some chickens in here, and they're ready to come out now. So I'll just grab a little bowl here. Face forward. So the inside of a smoker is not a pretty thing, but it has its own beauty when you've smoked enough delicious things. So it's got this big latched-on door. When you open it, you get a nice blast of smoke. So these are some chickens. They've been in there for 3.5 hours. And I'll pull one out and sort of rip it apart so you can see the steam and the aroma and everything. And then I can show you the rub that we usually put on the chickens and explain that a little bit. Once everyone's got their photographs.
Yeah.
I'll just take one out here. Oh man. Grab one.
Yeah, exactly.
So what I do with these chickens is I want to season and make the meat moist. So I put it in a salt water brine the night before I cook it. It's just basically 8 parts water to 1 part kosher salt, and leave it sitting in there. And that infuses the meat with salt evenly throughout the meat, so you don't have that problem often with poultry where the outside is delicious and crispy and flavorful, and then the middle is flavorless. And also the water and the salt get into the meat and make it moist, so you end up with an even moisture all the way through the meat. So you can see the juices are sort of coming out there, so it's very juicy still, the meat, and it just pulls apart very easily. Nice hot meat with great flavor. I'll just pull this apart and people can just come by and dip in with their hands. The interesting thing about smoking is it's such a gentle process that it often doesn't drive all the color out of the meat, so the chicken will often have a little bit of pink in it. I can assure you it's boiling hot and extremely well done, but it
smells great.
Yeah, it doesn't always have that perfect clarity. Yeah, so the chicken sandwich came from this, so we take it out and pull it apart just like the pulled pork essentially, and then throw it into a sandwich with. So you can see the breast meat even is very moist.
Whoa, crazy.
Yeah, and usually, you know, when you cook chicken, the breast meat is pretty dry and unappealing when it's coming out of there. So and it's just so tender. Obviously everyone doesn't have gloves on, so you can't feel it, but Yeah. Maybe I'll just start. I don't know. It's really, really hot, so. Well, I'm going to start doing that, I think, probably in March. So far, we've been trying to get the sandwiches down and keep the quality consistent and stuff like that. But it is really nice meat, and fish does really well in there. And right now, we're just doing rainbow trout. It's from whale's bone. It's from a sustainable harvest farm near Montreal. And it's just a beautiful fish. Just a really great natural full flavor to it, and I don't do very much to it. I put just a dry brine of brown sugar and salt on it and leave it for a few hours, and then just put it in a really low temperature smoking, like about 190 degrees Fahrenheit, so it doesn't even hit boiling point essentially. And it comes out just sort of doing its thing. It's happy fish, and it just has a really nice flavor, and you could put that in salads, you can put it on a sandwich, or I was thinking of maybe eventually sort of having like a cream cheese spread or something like that, and putting it in there would be really nice. It'd be really nice with pasta. Yeah, it's a wonderful sandwich, and we put it with some of the guacamole that you had on the pressed club tonight.